Today we're talking about the waiting process. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Montgomery. I'm the founder of Montgomery Admissions Consulting, where we specialize in working with first generation and minority law school applicants. When I don't hear things, I tend to make up scenarios in my head. I haven't heard yet because they're probably trying to figure out how to say no. Or maybe my, application or the thing I sent, I never got there. Or they would have said yes already if they wanted me. So I don't know why they're just waiting. Maybe they're never going to get back to me. Like, there's all the thoughts. I might be alone in this. These are all the thoughts that go into my head. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And for a lot of you that have been in this process since September, it can seem like forever ago. Like, there's all this buildup. And when I say been in the process since September, like, sometimes I'm talking about last September, right? There's the whole process of studying for the LSAT, writing your essays, getting everything together, picking your schools, finally applying, and now we're waiting. And some people have already gotten acceptance letters. Some people have unfortunately gotten denials. Some people have gotten waitlisted. And maybe you're in that boat, and maybe you haven't received anything. And you're like, what the heck? Why am I the last one to the party? Like, why don't I know? So today we're going to talk about what that waiting process even looks like, what it means. Hopefully I'm going to soothe some of your anxiety. No news could be good news. Right? It's not necessarily bad news. So we're going to talk about why also timings are just different for everyone in the law school application process, what to do in the waiting. Should you send them an update? You got a new job. Should you tell them or not tell them? You're volunteering now. How should you tell them? What things are noteworthy for updates? And also, should you write a letter of continued interest? When should you write that? When should you check to see, hey, like, did you actually get my materials? Or like, is everything okay? So we're going to talk through that because there's a lot of confusion in this process. Let's dive in what to do in the waiting. If you applied in September and you have not heard anything, first off, when you apply, you should be given like a username and a password to an applicant portal. And if you don't have that applicant portal or you lost it, like, look in your spam, because that's really important. In your applicant portal, you will be able to check the status of your application. So you'll be able to see, hopefully, if your application is marked complete. Every school has like slightly different verbiage. Usually there's some sort of indication that your application is complete or your application is in review. If you applied to a school in September, so not last week, okay, because some of you, I know, I'm looking at you, but like in September or October, and your application has still not gone under review, that might be a time for you to just really quick, very short, super respectful email to admissions, or sometimes they give you an email. I'm always a big fan, you'll hear me say this a lot today, follow the instructions that they give you. You're trying to be a lawyer, you need to follow the law. These are the instructions. They're going to tell you how to contact them. They're going to tell you how they want updates. They're going to tell you how to reach out if you have questions. But a simple, quick email saying, hello, my name is Montgomery. My LSAC ID is da-da-da-da-da. I just wanted to check to make sure that all of my application materials were received and marked as complete. I applied on X date, September, October, and I noticed that my file had not yet gone under review. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Hope you're having a great weekend or week or whatever it is, right? Just super nice and respectful. That's just because your file probably should have gone under review if you applied, September, October, November, December, 4 months ago. Talking about 12 weeks. It usually takes somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks on average for your file to go under review, just because of the volume of applications that they're receiving. And so if it's been more than 12 weeks and your file hasn't gone under review, that doesn't mean anything bad, right? They also could just be busy. Admissions are really small offices. I think people really underestimate that. Like, it's not like staffed by 30 people. It's like 3, sometimes 5, sometimes 2. Small number of people reading like tens and thousands of applications. There's 66,000 or 70,000 applications to law school every year, something like that. It's like a large number, small number of people. So please give them some grace. Be super respectful. Don't pressure them like, hey, how come I haven't heard anything yet? Because they're busy. Just ask, I just want to make sure that my application was fully received and complete, right? And someone probably say, yep, we've got everything. Thanks so much. Cool. You keep waiting. If you, like I said, if you applied recently, it's probably too soon for that. So just keep an eye on it. I wouldn't reach out until after it's been about maybe 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks, and if your application still hasn't gone under review. Now, students sometimes ask, well, should I send an update, right? And the answer is maybe. So if there's something substantially different, so first off, if you're in college and you now have more grades than you did when you applied, please send those. That's like an automatic send your transcript. And usually, again, the school will tell you how they want you to contact them, how they want you to send it, but you do need to send an updated transcript. And sometimes that can be sent just right through your credential assembly service in your LSAC account. But you do need to send an updated transcript. So if you're in college and you now have more grades, you have something to send them. That's an automatic, easy yay. If you retook the LSAT, chances are they have your LSAT score, your new updated LSAT score, but please send them an update with your updated LSAT score. That's, again, those two are just automatic. Yes, you need to send an update. A lot of times people will ask, well, I got a new job. Should I update my resume? Do I need to send them that? And that one's a little bit more gray. If you think your new job would substantially help your applications, there's nothing wrong with a quick note, hi, my name is City Montgomery, my LSAC ID is da-da-da-da-da, I recently, received a promotion, or I recently got a new job and would love to attach an updated resume to my file. Thank you so much. Warmly, City Montgomery. Right? This is not like, and I'm going to tell you all about my new job and all my job duties. Like, you're not doing that. You're sending an updated resume to be attached to your file. And there's no harm in that. Now, some of you change jobs frequently, and that's, for whatever reason it is, but don't do that more than once. Right? So if you get a new job, you get promoted again, you get promoted again. You don't need 3 update emails. One time is absolutely fine. If you started a new volunteering endeavor, you might want to wait. And even with the job, it's a gray zone. And this is why. Because when you write your letter of continued interest, you will usually include updates. And so if you give them all the updates, right? I'm giving you my job update. I'm giving you my volunteering. I'm giving you all these other things. You're going to have nothing to write in your letter of continued interest. So even if you do have a new job, it doesn't necessarily mean, if you're a strong applicant, let's say you're at or above medians, you're a strong applicant, you've gotten a new job, honestly, I would just hold on to that piece of information in case I somehow get waitlisted and need it for a letter of continued interest. If you are an applicant that you were really below the medians and you're like, man, this is a reach school and I'm probably either going to get in or get denied, right? It's just not super likely and I don't want to get denied. So I'm going to go ahead and give them this update because I don't know if I'm even going to get waitlisted. Odds aren't in my favor. Then sure. But if you're a strong applicant and you think I'm not really sure, maybe this could maybe help, but honestly my application was pretty good on its own, I would hold on to that piece of information and save it for a letter of continued interest. Which brings me to my question. People ask, should I write a letter of continued interest? When they ask for it. So you don't write a letter of continued interest if you're just waiting, right? You're just I don't know, it's been 3 months. I should just tell them I'm still interested. They know. Trust me. They don't think that you stopped being interested in 3 months. It is not necessary. And the reason why you don't want to bombard them with things is because it's annoying. And I've said several times in several videos, the last thing that you want to do is annoy the admissions committee because, it's really hard not to think about that when you're reading your application. Oh my God, this is that really annoying applicant that emails us every 2 weeks. That's the emotion that they're going into reading your file with. That just doesn't help anyone. I'm not saying you're not going to get in, but we're all human. Right, let's have them go into it wow, that was that really lovely person I met at the LSAC fair who sent such a nice and respectful email that one time. And we had a lovely mini chat. Oh, I'm so excited to read their application. Just a better frame of mind to be in when they're reading the application materials. So your job is that you do not want to annoy admissions. And so I know waiting is hard, but you just don't want to be bombarding them with updates or emails or any of those things. So you don't want to send a letter of continued interest if you haven't been waitlisted and you're just waiting. Just wait, right? Just wait. Like I said, LSAT score, send it right away. GPA, send it right away. right? Like transcripts, send that right away. But some of those other things, like really be judicious about it. There's no black and white rule. So, for some of you, it might make sense to send those. For some of you, it might not make sense, but you don't want to write an entire letter of continued interest until you've actually been waitlisted. And then usually the instructions will tell you what to do. And I usually like to have applicants ask if there is a form to do so. How do you like waitlist candidates to stay in contact with you? Because some schools will say, oh, we love updates and letters of continued interest every 4 to 6 weeks. And some schools will say, fill out this form and do not contact us until we contact you, right? And so you want to make sure that you are, again, following the instructions that the school has set. So the schools will usually say, please fill out this form if you would like to stay on the wait list, and if you want to send a letter of continued interest, you can send it to this specific email. So follow those instructions, fill out the form, send the letter of continued interest to that specific email. If you're like, Sydney, I don't know how to write a letter of continued interest, we have entire videos, like I think 3 or 4 videos on writing letters of continued interest. We have resources for you in our mini courses. You can get access to all of our courses for only $19 on our website. It's not a difficult letter. All of you can do it. It's not long. It's not an essay. It's like maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs. It's okay. And in those letters of continued interest, you usually reiterate your interest in the school, why it's a good fit for you, just pulling from their website, and then you include some updates, right? And this is why I said you want to maybe save some updates. So those updates can be, since applying, I have, gotten this new job or this promotion. I've really spent time with these volunteer opportunities, giving back to my community, all of those great things, new information, so that they'll be like, oh, this is the reason why we should take him off the wait list. But you don't want to just volunteer all of that information without being waitlisted, because you don't know. In the silence, they could be saying yes. And that's because law school admissions is holistic and comparative. And what does that mean? It means that they are, of course, looking at your entire application, so not just your GPA and LSAT. I always say you're more than just a number. They're looking at your work history. Your essays are so important. Your letters of recommendation, all of those things are really important. And they are comparing your application to the other applicants. And so sometimes they know right away, yes, we want Sally in our class. Great. And then sometimes they're like, we like Sally, but we also like Johnny, and Caitlin over there looks really interesting. So let's just wait to see what other applicants we get, and then we'll look at Sally again once we see a couple more students this month. That is why some students will find out, I don't know, maybe within 4 weeks. Some students won't find out until March. I mean, there are schools that literally are not going to tell you until March or April, even though they've accepted some students in November. And that's incredibly frustrating, I know, but that is kind of how the process is, and it doesn't mean that your application isn't strong or that you're not getting in. And I'll say this again when we get to March, because I know people are going to be like, oh my God, what is happening with this school? I don't know. But you never really know what's going on in admissions, and they could be working their way to a yes. Right? And so you always want to stay positive, stay hopeful, but you do want to make sure that all of your application materials are complete if you haven't heard within 10 to 12 weeks. And that's because you don't want to get to March and realize that we never really received one of your letters of recommendation, even though you sent it through CAS. Or, oh, for some reason our system never marked your application as complete. We do see it's complete, but now it's March, most of our classes filled, and we didn't know, right? That can happen. Not to scare anyone, it's very rare, but there is a level of, computer and human error that can happen. And so if it's been 10 to 12 weeks, that's why I always just say check in to make sure that all of your application materials have been received. And, that way your application can be marked as complete and go into review. Hopefully that helped kind of you think through what you should be doing, right? You shouldn't be worried or panicked if you haven't heard from schools. What you can always do is create those updates though, fill your time. Get involved with a volunteer organization if you have time, even if it's something like starting a book club at your church or community center. Get more involved with work, get that promotion. do things that are going to give you the updates that you can then use in your letters of continued interest if you need to in your waitlist. There are just always good things to do anyways. You should be continually trying to better yourself, better your professional development and your own personal growth, whether that's your spiritual growth or your relationship, your friendships, whatever it is, right? You want to be on that journey of personal development. So I think that these are good things to be striving to do anyways while you're waiting, but they can be helpful if you take this time when you're waiting to do things that can make meaningful updates for letters of continued interest. So that's kind of my take on what to do in the waiting. Hopefully this was helpful. I always say, make sure that you share these videos or the podcast episodes with a friend, have them subscribe and like as well. You can always submit questions to us at bit.ly/breakintolawschool, and we do read all of those questions. I'm so grateful for you. I'm excited for you. That's what I am. I'm excited for your acceptance letters. Like, let me know, even if, we didn't work together personally. Like, I love happy news. I like to do happy dances. It's fine, like a little dancing in my chair, but I love to do it. I love to do it for you. I love to do shout outs. So let me know if you got that acceptance letter and you were like, oh my God, this is my first choice. Like, let me know. I love to shout that out. I won't mention her name, but we had a fantastic individual email a couple weeks ago and say that, she's a student that's on the autism spectrum and she just got into her first choice law school in Canada. Shout out to Canadians and shout out to all those neurodiverse students pursuing their dreams. I was so happy for her, so happy for her, and so proud of her, because no matter what you have, it's not a blocker to what you can be. And so if you have acceptance letters, let me know. Email us at hello@smontgomeryconsulting.com. We'd love to shout you out. We'd love to shout you out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you want, because we're celebrating with you. You did the damn thing, and I'm proud of you. So like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys next week.